So as some of you guys might know, LEGO is doing things a bit differently this year with how they're retiring sets. See, usually LEGO retires Star Wars sets on the very last calendar day of every year, that being December 31st. However, this year, 2026, LEGO has actually kind of split things up. They're now actually retiring a batch of sets on July 31st and then another batch of sets on December 31st. And well, since July 31st is only about 2 months away, I want to make a video of every LEGO Star Wars set retiring this summer. There are a total of 13 sets to get through, and on paper, you obviously have until July 31st to get these if you want any of them. But like usual with every year, there is a chance that some of these sets could sell out and then not be restocked before their retirement date on paper. So definitely keep that in mind as we go throughout this video. But on the brighter side, over the next couple of weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these sets get some pretty strong sales on either lego.com, Amazon, or just any other retail site like Walmart or Target. So definitely keep your eye out for that too. But the first set is 75325, The Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter, and this set has literally been out for 4 years. Its original launch date was all the way back on January 1st of 2022, giving it a substantially longer lifespan than most other LEGO Star Wars sets. So if you really want this set and you somehow haven't gotten it yet, I guess you have 2 months to do so. But I mean, I assume that most everyone watching this video probably owns this already. And I mean, it makes sense why LEGO is finally kicking the bucket on this set. Obviously, the UCS N1 just came out, and then on top of that, they've also just released multiple other high-quality starfighters since this one came out. Aside from the build, I'd say the only reason to get this set would be for that Pili Moto minifigure, which is exclusive. And you know, this might be a character that LEGO doesn't make for quite a while, or ever again. The Mandalorian figure is also exclusive, but there's better versions of this figure that exist in other sets that aren't retiring anytime soon, so I definitely don't see a reason to get this set for that reason. Next up is 75333, Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. This is another set that's been out for a very long time. It released on January 1st of 2022 alongside the N1 Starfighter I just talked about, and it's also another one that I assume most of you guys own already. However, unlike the N1 Starfighter, it's actually got more going for it in my opinion. I think the build is a lot cooler and more interesting, and then obviously it's got a way better minifigure lineup, especially with that exclusive Taun We minifigure, which has been the main selling point for this set for a lot of people since it came out. But I mean, again, it's been on shelves for 4 years, so I assume most of you guys have it already. And not to mention, as some of you guys might know, there's an Anakin Jedi Starfighter coming out next year in 2027, which seems like it's most likely going to replace this Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, and I wouldn't be surprised if that set also ends up being on shelves for a very long time. Next up is yet another 2022 set, that being 75337 ATTE Walker. And unlike the two sets I just talked about, I'm pretty sure there are still a lot of people that haven't been able to get their hands on this one yet, because it's obviously more expensive at $140. However, I will say it's definitely not very hard to find this thing on sale, especially at places like Walmart or Target. I mean, I've seen this thing as low as $85 before. But as for the set goes, the main selling point is obviously the build. It's the best ATTE LEGO has made by a long shot. When it comes to the figures, I'd say the only selling point is Commander Cody, obviously, because the rest of the clone troopers suck. But really, the build is the main highlight. It's one of the best play sets in recent years. Next up is 75345 501st Clone Troopers Battle Pack from 2023. And I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. It's definitely been on shelves a lot longer than other battle packs usually are, due to it most likely just being very popular and generating a lot more sales compared to other battle packs. And I assume most of you guys have this one already, but if you don't, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'd say it's really one of the only sets that contains some of the actual only good modern clone troopers, with the heavy troopers and the specialists obviously being the highlights, and then the officer being the only weak one out of the bunch. Next up is 75347 TIE Bomber, and this is a set that I feel like has kind of gone under the radar, well, at least in recent years, because when it initially came out, it was getting a ton of attention because it was the first TIE Bomber in so many years, like 15 years or something. But nowadays, I just don't really see people talking about it anymore. I don't know if that's because better TIE variants have come out or what, but regardless, it's still a great set. I mean, it's an incredible build with a solid minifigure lineup, all at a good price of only $65. And I mean, LEGO has had it on shelves for a longer period of time than usual, that being 3 years when most sets get 2 years. So despite it not necessarily getting talked about that much anymore, I guess its sales are pretty good. Up next is 75349 Captain Rex Helmet, and I assume that most of you guys own this one. It's arguably the most popular helmet set LEGO has released, or at least one of the most popular. And you know, albeit I do think this set is kind of overrated, I like the Commander Cody one a lot better. But hey, if Captain Rex is one of your favorite characters and you like helmet sets, you have about 2 months to get this one. Next up is a set that I'm honestly kind of sad to see retiring, just because it's so good and one of my favorite sets from recent years, that being 75356 Executor Super Star Destroyer from 2023. And if you're someone that doesn't own this set, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a big fan of 18+ sets, or if you're not a big fan of the Starship collection, I'd still recommend recommend it just because it's so good. To this day, I still think it's the best midi-scale set LEGO has made. I mean, it's almost like it's in its own tier above all the other ones. That's why I recommend it so much. And also, not to mention, its full retail price is only $70, which compared to the other midi-scale sets, and honestly just really any of the 18 plus sets in general, is a really good deal. So again, if you don't have this one, go get it. You won't be disappointed. Next up is 75373 Ambush on Mandalore Battle Pack, and this is a set that I honestly think is super underrated, and honestly, just like the Executor I just talked about, I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I glaze this set every time I get the chance to talk about it, just because I think it's so good. And the main thing I like about it is the build and how the figures interact with the build. It's this nice terrain work that has this transparent piece you can connect the figures to and make them look like they're flying. I mean, it's literally almost like a display piece, but a battle pack, which I just think is awesome because, you know, most of the time battle pack builds are just dumb little vehicles to complement the figures, but not in this case. It's actually a build that interacts with the figures very, very well. And then on top of that, of course, the figures themselves are incredible. I do think the helmet printing, specifically the visors on the Imperial Super Commandos, could have been done a little bit better, but other than that small nitpick, I really don't have any complaints with this set, and I think most of you guys would enjoy it. Next up is one of the most popular sets that released in 2024, that being 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, in hindsight, I think the hype for this set might have been a little too high, because you know, all these years later, it definitely hasn't gone down as one of my favorite sets in recent years, or even one of my favorite Starfighters in recent years, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, after all, the Starfighter is very unique, and I do like the colorway. The red stripes look really cool, but then of course the set has Jedi Bob, which is arguably the main selling point for it. So if you're someone that hasn't bought it already, you have until July 31st to do so, or I guess you could buy it on the aftermarket and pay higher prices. Next up is 75391 Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter, and this is another very popular set from 2024, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a good microfighter, but I don't think it's like top tier compared to some of the other ones. I mean, Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter that released a year later in 2025 like brutally outmogs it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it obviously has a Phase 2 Captain Rex at a very cheap price, so because of that, I mean, I assume most of you guys have already bought it. Lastly, we actually have 3 2025 sets, which is a bit surprising because by the time these sets retire, their lifespan will have only been about a year and a half, which is less than usual, because if you guys didn't know, the standard is usually about 2 years. But the first one is 75401 Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor, and out of these 3, this is the one that I'm most surprised to see retiring this early. Despite it having an atrocious retail price of $45, I was still just expecting it to be one of those Starfighters, kind of like the ones we talked about earlier, that just has a super long shelf life because it sells so well. I mean, I was expecting this thing to be on shelves for at least 3 years, but it looks like that's not the case. I don't know what the problem is. I guess people just aren't buying this set as much as LEGO was expecting them to, but I mean, yeah, it will be retiring on July 31st. Next up is 75404 Acclamator Class Assault Ship, and to be honest, I don't really have much to say about this one. I mean, I do think the build is really good. It's very sleek, and I love how they made it the Clone Wars version of the Acclamator that has the red stripes on it. Although unfortunately, it is just a bit overpriced. I think $50 was too high for this thing, but thankfully, it is not very hard to find it on sale. And then lastly, out of all the sets retiring on July 31st, we have 75405 Home 1 Star Cruiser. And this set is actually one of my personal favorites, just because I'm pretty biased towards the Home 1 in general. I think the Mon Calamari Star Cruisers are awesome, and LEGO needs to make them more often. But unfortunately, as good as this set is, and as cool as Mon Calamari Star Cruisers are, I just don't think this set is that popular. I don't see many people talking about this thing, and I don't think many people have bought it. But I mean, I would personally recommend it. It's a really fun build. It's got some great shaping, and if you want to get it, you again have until July 31st. Anyways though, guys, that is every set retiring this summer. Like I mentioned towards the beginning of the video, there is a chance that some of these sets could sell out and then not be restocked before July 31st, but also, like I mentioned, over the next couple of weeks, most of these sets will probably have some pretty big sales online. So again, just keep your eye out, and I might post some of them if I see them. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see the link on screen right now.